Two men, one throne. For more than a decade, Hollywood wasn't big enough for both of them. What began as a clash of egos turned into insults, lies that nearly destroyed a career, and a silent war of muscles and bullets that defined action cinema in the 80s. This is how Arnold and Stallone's rivalry became far uglier than you remember. Their first face-to-face clash took place at the 1977 Golden Globe Awards, where they were seated at the same table. That night, Rocky, the film written by and starring Stallone, was collecting nominations without winning a single award. Schwarzenegger, meanwhile, won the New Star of the Year award for Stay Hungry, and wasted no time loudly mocking his rival's string of losses. But the payback came quickly and with style. When Rocky finally won the award for Best Picture, Stallone, fueled by pride and bottled-up frustration, stood up and threw a bouquet of flowers straight at Schwarzenegger. To many, it looked like a harmless prank. To them, it was a message loaded with gunpowder, the beginning of a fierce rivalry, the declaration of an all-out, ruthless, no-holds-barred war for the top. Years later, both men admitted that moment was, quite literally, the glove thrown to the ground.
Schwarzenegger, I've read that you guys actually hated each other for a while.
Well, we were very competitive. Yeah, I think hate's a good word.
Arnold would later describe it as the beginning of a battle. Over the next few years, Stallone soared with the Rocky sequels, while Arnold chased from behind, watching his rival string together one success after another. But that was about to change. By 1982, Stallone was still, by far, the biggest action star on the planet, thanks to the Rocky sequels. Arnold was only beginning to make a name for himself with Conan the Barbarian. But in 1984, everything changed. Arnold starred in the Terminator, and almost overnight, stopped being the bodybuilder who made movies and became a bona fide action icon. Stallone fired back months later with Rambo, First Blood Part 2, a massive hit that grossed $20 million during its opening weekend alone. 5 months later, Arnold countered with Commando, a film that, as he himself admitted years later, was specifically designed to outdo Stallone in sheer destruction and prove that he, too, could wipe out an entire army by himself. From that moment on, every movie became a battlefield. Who had the bigger physique? Who killed the most enemies on screen? Who carried the biggest weapon? Arnold later admitted that while filming Predator, he specifically requested a machine gun of the kind normally mounted on a tank or a helicopter, just so he could wield a bigger gun than the one Stallone had used in Rambo. Every movie they released became a message aimed directly at the other. Here's my answer to your success. That same year, 1985, Stallone released Rocky IV, where his on-screen nemesis, the Soviet boxer Ivan Drago, seemed deliberately designed as a direct reflection of Arnold, a cold, technologically advanced giant with a foreign accent and an impossible physique. The entire industry knew exactly who that character was meant to evoke. Years later, during a public conversation at Beyond Fest in 2017, Arnold summed up just how insane that era had become. Suddenly, he said, everything had turned into a competition over who had the more muscular body, but it did not stop there. Two rising stars, fueled by enormous egos, began throwing punches below the belt that the industry could barely withstand.
I think he's brilliant. What he's done, what he's accomplished, he's had 3 different careers.
Oh, he's great.
But I want to strangle him. You want to strangle him?
But the rivalry did not stay on the screen. In October 1985, during an interview with News of the World, Arnold implied that Stallone relied on body doubles in some of his movies. He even added that any real stunt performer would be offended just to be compared to the Rocky star. It was a calculated blow, aimed directly at the pride of a man who took great pride in performing his own physical scenes. Then came the worst of it. In February 1988, the same tabloid published a story under the headline "Hollywood Star's Nazi Secret," claiming that Arnold was a secret admirer of Hitler and held anti-Semitic views. The source behind the story, as was later revealed, was Stallone himself. What made the article especially damaging was that it touched on a real and painful part of Arnold's family history. His father, Gustav Schwarzenegger, had indeed voluntarily joined the Austrian Nazi Party in 1938 and fought for Nazi Germany during World War II. However, there is no evidence that he participated in war crimes, and Arnold, who was born 2 years after the war ended, has always firmly rejected any personal connection to those beliefs. Arnold eventually sued the newspaper for libel. The paper publicly apologized and paid damages, but the blow to his reputation had already been dealt. That same year, it was reported that Stallone and his entourage walked into a nightclub, spotted a photo of Arnold hanging on the wall, and demanded that it be taken down or they would leave. A small gesture compared to the tabloid story, but one that revealed just how petty their rivalry had become. Their personal lives did not escape the feud either. Stallone eventually married Danish model Brigitte Nielsen after rumors circulated that she had been romantically involved with Arnold during the filming of Red Sonja. Each of them tells a different version of how the story really began, but one thing is certain, it did nothing to ease the tension between the two actors. If anything, it only made things worse. Even when they were not attacking each other directly, they found ways to take shots through their movies.
You would do Rambo, and then he would do...
Commando.
Commando, yeah.
In Twins, Arnold's character mocks a Rambo 3 poster by gesturing that his own muscles are bigger. Stallone fired back in Tango and Cash, having his character sarcastically tell a criminal that he had loved him in Conan the Barbarian just before beating him up. In Last Action Hero, Arnold imagined a world in which he had never become an actor, and a poster for Terminator 2 featured Stallone as the T-800 instead, while Arnold's character sarcastically praised his rival's performance. And in Demolition Man, also released in 1993, Stallone's character wakes up in the future, only to discover that Schwarzenegger has become President of the United States thanks to a fictional constitutional amendment allowing foreign-born citizens to hold the office. But that still was not the end of their rivalry. If there is one chapter that perfectly captures just how far this rivalry went, it is the story of Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. For years, it was dismissed as nothing more than a Hollywood urban legend until Arnold himself confirmed it on television. Here is what happened. Arnold was offered the script for the comedy first. He read it and, in his own words, thought it was terrible. He rejected it immediately. But instead of simply walking away, Arnold came up with the perfect trap based on reverse psychology. Knowing that Stallone's agents closely monitored his every move, he deliberately leaked through industry insiders that he was extremely interested in the project and was demanding a huge salary to star in it. The rumor quickly reached Stallone, consumed by the rivalry and determined to snatch the project away from his arch-rival before Arnold could get it. Stallone immediately called the producers to secure the leading role, completely unaware that he had just taken the bait. The result was a complete disaster. The film was savaged by critics, won 3 Razzie Awards including Worst Actor for Stallone himself, and ultimately became, as Stallone later admitted, the worst movie of his entire career. Arnold, for his part, made no attempt to hide his satisfaction. He publicly admitted that he laughed out loud and thoroughly enjoyed watching the film sink without a trace. In 1991, something changed. Arnold, Stallone, and Bruce Willis opened the first Planet Hollywood restaurant together. It marked the beginning of a slow but genuine thaw in their relationship. Over the following years, the two traveled the world together, promoting the business, and the rivalry that had once seemed impossible to overcome gradually evolved into something much closer to mutual respect. By the year 2000, the entertainment press was already speculating about the possibility of the two finally appearing in a film together. When Arnold became governor of California, he invited Stallone to his inauguration ceremonies, and as a gesture of goodwill, Sly even donated $15,000 to Arnold's 2005 re-election campaign. Finally, in 2010, they officially shared the screen in The Expendables, with Arnold making an uncredited cameo. That was followed by The Expendables 2, The Expendables 3, and in 2013, Escape Plan, their first film as true co-stars, which went on to gross $137 million worldwide. Over the years, both men began speaking openly about what had happened between them. In 2023, during an interview on The Graham Norton Show, Arnold admitted without hesitation that the rivalry had gotten completely out of control and that, at one point, both of them had actively tried to destroy the other's career. He explained that once they became partners in Planet Hollywood and started traveling the world together, they developed a genuine friendship. In fact, he described Stallone as a great person and said that today they are inseparable. In the Netflix documentary Arnold, released that same year, Stallone went even further. Reflecting on that era, he openly acknowledged that Arnold ultimately became the superior action hero. He had the physique, the strength, and a body that could tell the story without saying a single word. Stallone even admitted that, by contrast, his own characters spent most of their movies getting beaten up, while Arnold almost never appeared seriously hurt on screen. In November 2025, the two sat down together for a joint interview with TMZ and once again reflected on where it all began. Stallone summed up their first meeting by saying that the moment they saw each other, it felt like two alpha males colliding. He admitted that, even though Arnold had never done anything wrong to him, he was convinced that sooner or later he would. Arnold, for his part, humbly acknowledged that much of the rivalry had started because of him, admitting that he had said things which, looking back, he considered foolish. During that same conversation, both men praised each other more openly than ever before. Arnold confessed that he envies Stallone's passion and emotional intensity qualities he admits he does not possess in the same way. Stallone, in turn, described Arnold as someone steady and calculating, almost like a season of the year that never changes, while defining himself as a far more emotional person, sometimes even to the point of letting his feelings override logic. Two titans who spent nearly a decade trying to destroy each other on screen, in the press, and even in their personal lives ultimately discovered, almost 50 years after that bouquet of flowers was thrown across the room, that the only way to truly win was to stop competing. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, we have another one waiting for you right here.